Now, it's no surprise these days that we have a huge plethora of games to play and styles of games. We've got all our turn-based attack strategy games, FPSs, RPGs, sports games, dating simulators, goat simulators, farming simulators. There are so many varieties of games we can play, but when was the last time you heard of a Western game? Though one company has been doing Western games for a long time now, and they've got several entries in their series, Call of Juarez. Now, I've never played any of these games before personally, but figuring I've never played a first-person Western game before, which for me is a bit of an odd thing to do. I mean, I've played lots of games like Red Dead Redemption or Gun, or Western-styled characters like McCree in Overwatch, and all these people that kind of jump the boundary, but we never really see many first-person shooter Western games. So with that in mind, today I'll be checking out Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Call of Juarez Gunslinger is an FPS with a lot of charm. We play as Silas Greaves, the West's most accomplished gunslinger who strolls into a saloon during the death knell of the Old West as he recounts his greatest adventures to a ragtag audience having a drink. Our first mission starts with Silas at his youngest when he rode with Billy the Kid, and as far as first impressions go, this game is really nice to look at. Everything's kind of cel-shaded, and even though there isn't much colour, the art style is very unique. Right, so I've got my revolver in hand, and there are some unsuspecting enemies ahead. Okay, let's see how well I do.
Stay on it! Cover fire! God damn it! God damn it, he's right behind us! Where the hell's Garrett? Never around when you need it!
Silas can carry 2 weapons at a time, which includes one of 3 revolvers and a primary weapon of either a shotgun or a rifle. You start with the basic revolver, which is great at mid to close range and is pretty accurate. Later on in the first level you can also find a Ranger revolver, which fires more slowly but has better accuracy, and later on in the game you can also access a quick shooter which yeah. Not only is the gunplay fun due to the emphasis on accuracy needed to succeed, but Silas can also build up concentration, which slows down time and allows you to pick off targets with ease. And also, if you lose too much health and are about to die, you can also build up your sense of death meter to avoid fatal gunshot wounds, which keeps the action fast-paced and is forgiving of reckless behaviour. Plus, for every enemy you kill, you gain experience, which, as you gain, allows you to level up Silas. And if you chain up a lot of kills quickly or get a few headshots, you'll also gain more experience to level up faster. And with each level you'll gain a skill point which can be put into 3 classifications of abilities. Gunslinging, wherein Silas gains the ability to dual wield revolvers and improve concentration. There's trapping, which makes Silas more resistant to bullets and improves his effectiveness with dynamite and shotguns. And ranging, which improves Silas's aim and his skill with rifles. And if you keep playing, not only will you max out all the skill sets and get certain abilities like throwing dynamite and blowing it up in mid-air, taking more damage, having a slowdown when you aim to get easier headshots, etc., but you'll also unlock improved versions of all the game's weapons, such as the golden rifle or the inlaid 6-shooter. Plus, if you're eagle-eyed enough, you can also find what are called nuggets of truth around each of the levels, which flesh out the characters, story and locations with little tidbits of information of the Old West. Now, although this is technically an arcade title, this is pretty much for me like a AAA experience. I mean, great graphics, awesome pacing, it's a pretty compact experience, but there's a lot to do in the time you're given, and I prefer a game that's short and has a lot to do, rather than a game that's drawn out and drip feeds you the content. And fair play to the guys who made this game, because it's really well done. Okay, so back with the gameplay, we meet up with Brett Michaels here and get to defend the farmhouse from an assault of deputised gunmen. We get to try out the rifle and eventually make our way to the nearby barn to saddle up and retreat. However, on the way, one of the patrons of the retelling, Dwight, mentions that he read about Silas's duel against Pat Garrett in the same incident. So naturally, a showdown begins. At first, all you need to do is keep the shrinking circle still on top of your target's body with the right analog stick until he draws to get better accuracy. However, in later duels we also have the ability to use the left stick to hover our hand over the gun, so when we draw our piece we can shoot quicker. At the beginning of the game it seems pretty easy, but it can be pretty difficult to keep your sluggish reticule on your target as they wander from side to side as duels progress in the game. Now the interesting thing is when we gun down Pat Garrett, Silas actually tells Dwight that he never dueled with him in his life, and instead tells us how it really happened.
You challenged him to a showdown.
You read that in a dime novel?
It said he showed no fear as he took your measure with eyes like a rattlesnake. And that you killed him in a fair fight.
Is that what that Penny Dreadful said? No, boy, that ain't what I meant when I said I met Pat Garrett. So let me start again. I finally reached those damn stables. And stepped inside, and last thing I heard was Garrett's voice. That's not Billy.
This allows for a very interesting style of gameplay wherein we get to do things against what actually unfolds in the story.
I had a few ideas on how to get into that mine, but once I made my decision, I knew there was no turning back. So my first thought was to enter the nearest mine portal. I saw an entrance. Made sense. I freely admit that my plan of attack was not just moronic, but clearly insane. It's a good thing that I abandoned that ridiculous plan before I even tried it.
I think at the time of the release of this game a lot of people found this idea irritating due to its tendency to interfere with the flow of the game, but I actually really like this feature as we don't see it very often in video games. That said, as we progress some features do become a little repetitive as there are only a few types of enemies. Standard gunmen, guys with boards of wood which they use as cover, occasional shotgunners, and armoured gunmen, but if you have your dynamite saved up for these particular encounters you'll do fine. Also, this game has a lot of boss fights. The duels I've already mentioned add a nice diversion to the combat here and there, but occasionally you'll also have to fight in a more generic gaming format of shoot the boss 50 times in the face until he falls over. For the most part these bullet sponges aren't too bad to fight, however some enemies such as Henry Plummer can be a pain as you're surrounded by enemies, have little cover, and can be attacked by dynamite, so for the most part you'll tend to just pop your head out for a few shots, wait for your health to recharge, change cover, and repeat. And sure, they may be bullet sponges, but there are so many awesome real-life gunslingers we get to face off against. Curly Bill, Johnny Ringo, John Wesley Hardin, Kid Curry, and Jesse James, but to name a few. It's pretty awesome. I'm the fastest gun in the West. I missed. And to be fair, this game works really well with its pacing. We get to explore a variety of interesting places, sometimes play from the perspective of other characters,
despite them having the same arms as Silas.
And the cinematic artwork segments really give a great feel to the overall timeline and the game's setting. And concerning the story, as we approach the end of the game we find out that Silas won a game of poker against a gang consisting of Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bryan and Jim Reed. After taking his winnings, Silas reunited with his two older brothers on their way to Texas and were ambushed by the trio led by Roscoe. Silas and his brothers were hung, but Silas managed to survive as the branch snapped and swore to avenge his brothers' deaths. We take care of Ringo and Jim fairly quickly as the story escalates, and eventually we end the game fighting the ghosts of Silas's past in a graveyard as his current older self. For some reason Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid are also there, so we have to duel them too. At the same time. After winning the duel we then flash forward back to the saloon as Silas ends his story. The barman, Ben, asks Silas if he ever found Roscoe Bryant, and Silas pulls out an old Spanish coin. He tells Ben that he knows he's actually Bryant, and we get to choose his fate. If you choose redemption, Silas explains that he became a killer after Bob tried to murder him and wanted to suss out if he was worth sparing. Silas talks to the young patron, Dwight, who apparently is Dwight Eisenhower, as in the World War II general before he joined the army, and tells him to be a good boy and leaves the saloon. But if you choose revenge, you get to duel Ben. And if that wasn't enough gameplay, you can also try the whole game again on True West setting where you have no HUD options, play the arcade mode on several levels with the goal of gaining points, or even duel every boss in the game in succession in duel mode. You can even fight a few that weren't in the original campaign. Although I've got to admit, I'm not very good at it. So what do I think of Call of Juarez the Gunslinger? I mean, I've never played a Western first-person shooter before, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, it probably took me about 6 or so hours to get through the campaign, finding all the secrets, beating all the bosses on normal mode, and I've actually gone back since playing on the True West mode, where without the ammo counters and the aiming reticule, it's a lot more difficult, but it's also very enjoyable, improving your skills. And I've had a blast. I've read through all the nuggets of truth information, learned more about the characters and the real people that were in the Wild West, and if you've never played a Western game before on any console and you want that kind of, I suppose, closest experience to a Western, between this and Red Dead Redemption, I don't think you'd get a better example. I mean, Red Dead Redemption, for example, is a game that's big open world and it has a lot of cool areas to explore, and that's all well and good, but it never truly gets the gunslinging aspect of what Call of Juarez Gunslinger does, and being able to aim down the sights of revolvers and rifles and shotguns from the era and face off against some of the coolest gunslingers in history, it's pretty damn cool. So yeah, that was Call of Juarez the Gunslinger. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, thanks very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. There's 2 more videos coming up for sure this month. I don't think I'll be able to get more done than that. I did intend to do one last week, but circumstances changed, and I think you can probably all guess what the last video for the Grizzly Gem is going to be, because I mentioned it in this video, and I probably would be doing a disservice if I didn't mention the game because it's that good. So I'm going to get working on that video and another video which is pretty much done anyway, but I'll be releasing next week. But I hope you guys are enjoying Western Month, and please remember to let me know about what you'd like me to do next year with a themed month of a similar style, if it's maybe Space Month or, I don't know, Horror Month or something similar where it's more of a broad term, not around a particular game, and I might pick the suggestion if I can think of some cool games to cover, and it'd be a lot of fun to get the community involved as well. But either way, thanks so much for watching this video, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later.